अभियान सहित तांको मनरे मध्य रही अजस्र भल पाइबा एवं सम्मान आम पारंपरिक कला आम पारंपरिक हस्ततंत्र शिल्पी एवं बुणाकार एवं सेइथिपाई आज से यही मंचरे चेयरमैन ओडिशा स्किल डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी भाव में आसबे सत किंतु वार्तालाप करेंगे जड़े विशिष्ट फैशन एवं कॉस्ट्यूम डिजाइनर सहित एवं तांकुठु कथा है कि जानवे जे आमर यही हैंडलूम आउ टेक्सटाइल रो भविष्य कौन एवं तांकर रास्ता तांको आगो को केमती नहीं कि जीवाको अछि सेथिपाई तांकर कौन चिंता रही ए विषय में आम कथबार्ता होबा। सर्वप्रथम किंतु मु मंच को आमंत्रण करिया को चाहिए श्रीमती अलका मिश्र महोदया को अध्यक्ष ओडिशा स्किल डेवलपमेंट अथॉरिटी। महाशय आपण को अनेक अनेक स्वागत। तेबे दर्शक बंधु जमती कि मुझे जनइली जे आज श्रीमती मिश्रा जड़े एमती जड़े विशिष्ट व्यक्ति सहित कथबार्ता करेंगे जहाँकर ना रे ही इतिहास रही जहाँ ना रे ही वर्तमान रही जहाँ ना रे ही फैशन हैंडलूम टेक्सटाइल रो भविष्य भी देखा आमको मिले। आज्ञा हाँ ओडिया पुओ वर्तमान समय रे न्यूयॉर्क रे रोहुचंती सेठारे तांको फैशन रो जर्नी आरंभ कले। फैशन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी न्यूयॉर्क रे नामांकन ग्रहण करी सेठारु ग्रेजुएट हैला परे सेठारे ही FIT रो बेस्ट क्रिटिक अवार्ड मध्य पाइथिले फॉर बेस्ट इवनिंग वेयर डिजाइनर ऑफ द ईयर 1997 रे। ता परे परे तांको यात्रा ए जगत रे आरंभ हेछि। असिस्टेंट डिजाइनर भाव रे जॉइन कले हॉलस्टन 1999 मसीह डिजाइन डायरेक्टर भाव में जॉइन करथिले फ्रेंच फेरियर जे मेंडल को एवं ता परे परे भाग्य एवं प्रभु को आशीर्वाद सहित 2008 मसीह तांको नारे गोटे लेबल आरंभ कले जे आजिका समय आ फैशन लेबल है कि नहीं समस्तंकर प्रियर एस्पायरिंग लग्जरी लेबल है सारी। दर्शक बंधु US का फर्स्ट लेडी पूर्वतन फर्स्ट लेडी श्रीमती मिशेल ओबामा को नहीं कि जेनिफर लोपेज को पर्यंत मिंडी कैलिंग को भाया एमती अनेक विशिष्ट व्यक्तित्व को से ड्रेसअप करैछंती एवं फैशन दुनिया रे केवल जे से तांको वार्ता पहुँचाउछंती ता नुह आम ओडिशार कला और संस्कृति हस्ततंत्र विद्या एवं आम कला को लेकिन विश्व दरबार में पहुँचई। दर्शक बंधु आपण समस्त को अनुरोध करी आम निमंत्रण रक्षा करी से आज एठारे उपस्थित होती आम पाइटा बहुत खुशी एवं गर्वर कथा जानी आम ओडिशा एवं ओडिया हैंडलूम और टेक्सटाइल अनेक गर्व। जोरदार करताली दे स्वागत करंतु श्री विभू महापात्र महोदय को। अनुरोध करी श्रीमती मिश्रा को कि आज कथबार्तार अधिवेशन टी आरंभ करेंगे किंतु ता पूर्व आपण समस्त को जनइबा चाहिए कि यही कन्वर्सेशन आमे खाली एठारे शुणुचु ता नुह विश्व रे जोठी जोठी ओडिया हैंडलूम और टेक्सटाइल को भल पाउथबा लोक माने अछंती से माने ई कन्वर्सेशन को देखिबे सुनिबे एवं श्री विभू महापात्रंकर ग्लोरियस जर्नी विषय जानिबा पई इच्छुक रहिछंती। सेइथिपाई मो श्रीमती मिश्र को अनुरोध करिबी एवं आपण मानकर अनुमति चाहिबी जे ए जो कन्वर्सेशन टी हबो सेटा इंग्राजी भाषा रे रखिबे कारण केवल आमे नुह टुडे ओडिशा इज अ ग्लोबल फोर्स एवं आमे यही प्रचेष्टा आम हैंडलूम आम टेक्सटाइल को जोटा ग्लोबली लोक मैंने एते आदृत एते सम्मान एते भल पाइबा देइछंती आमे तांकु पहुँचेबा चाहिए। मु अनुरोध करी श्रीमती मिश्रा को आज ए कन्वर्सेशन इंग्राजी भाषा रे आरंभ करबा पई। प्लीज मैडम।
गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन and a very, very warm welcome on behalf of all here today to Mr. Bibhu Mahapatra. He actually doesn't need much of an introduction to each and every youth which is sitting here, as well as all the young people who want to always be called young, because he believes in fashion, he believes in Orissa, and he believes in each one of us here. Hello, Bibu. You're truly looking like a wow. And you are the star of the Uriya Bhasha Sammelani, our very own Uriya boy, straight from Rourkela to New York. I think he deserves a round of applause. Bibu is not just a star because the fashion world, whether it's New York or Milan or Paris, have declared that he is a star. He's a star because he's an amazing human being. He has his heart in the right place. He has reached where no Uriya has reached before. We celebrate you, we commend you, and we thank you for being in our midst today. He's been on a 21-hour flight, so if you feel sleepy, please excuse him. And he's barely here for 3 hours, and he has another 24-hour flight to go back to his New York fashion show. With that, Bibu, I wonder if you know that your name means powerful. And Bibu the powerful and the awesome, how have you been able to translate this awesomeness into your work?
Well, thank you for that insane introduction, and Jai Jagannath to all of you. And I'm so honored to be amongst family and friends. Someone asked me, like, how did you prepare for this short trip? I said, how do you prepare coming home? You get a calling and you just come. So thank you very much for that. Very, very proud and very excited about the first ever Odia language conference that we have here, and one of the many news. And just to answer your question, power, the real power behind power is empowerment. And all my professional life, I figured out that it's not only enough to create beautiful things, but it is important to create beautiful things that empowers. And I always aim to empower my audience, my client, with the clothes that I make. And if they feel confident, if they feel that they are being more of who they are, then my job is done.
So we have to thank your mom, Ma and Baba, for making you this person you are. I don't know how many of you are aware that it was Bibu's mother who got him to learn stitching. So for all the people who wonder what should we do, we have a celebrated person here whose mother taught him how to stitch. So we want to thank that generation of Ma and Baba who said it's okay for you to go with your passion. And I want you to share, Bibu, that journey of how you were 13 years old and how it began from there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very fortunate for today and for that day, when I was 13 years old, when my mother decided that she will teach me how to use her sewing machine. And then from that time on, she was always there for me. And I remember after using her old saris, finally she thought I was graduating. So she decided to give me some money to make some outfit for my sister for a cousin's wedding. And that was the first validation or acknowledgement of my capacity, that I could do something, that my mother would trust me to do that. So that sort of went on, and unfortunately I've lost her. We lost her at the age of 59. But I know she's here, and I know she's proud of me, and she's equally honored that I'm here amongst you all. And I also want to take this moment to thank Mrs. Sujata Pandian, who's a friend of mine, who also invited me, thought that I could add something to this incredible. So I was actually looking for an opportunity, and my friend Subrata Bagchi actually had told me about this, and it's like, what are you doing on this specific date? I'm like, I'm working, doing fittings. And then I texted him last week that, okay, I'm actually going to be there. So,
Yes.
so yeah, it all goes back to my mother and I'm so proud of her that being a traditional mother, she, both religious thile, both, she was the first artist. Like she, ଆମ ଘରେ ସବୁ କାନ୍ଥରେ ତାଙ୍କ ଛୁଆ ବେଳର ଯେତେ ସବୁ panels, embroidery panels, that was all over the world, and she had all the funny anecdotes about them. So now I have some of them with me and at our home, but she's the one who started it all.
Your sister mentioned that you used to sew in the night. Have you continued this, that you land up sewing in the night and in the morning, like a magician, there is a new set of clothes or a new design that comes up? Do you still do that?
I don't get the opportunity to sew, unfortunately, as much, because when you grow something, then all of a sudden you have a team. And I have a small but mighty team, and I'm so proud of them. And as we speak, they're working on the latest collection. My hands don't work middle of the night, but my mind constantly runs. And I think that's what keeps us all going, because whether we are a writer or a teacher or anything creative that we want to build on, I think the ideas come at a time when we are our mind is at rest, but it's not really resting. It has more clarity. So that's what happens.
I want to remind you about 5 years ago, you were in a very similar kind of setup here, and family was here with you. I remember watching the video where your sister said that anything that you set out to do, they knew you would achieve it. Today there is possibly more family here today. We're all family. So a round of applause, whoever is family of the pandemic changed a lot of things for many people. And one of the things that it changed, many of us lost a lot of family, but it was the artisans and the weavers who were in a very, very tough situation during the pandemic. How was your 2 years in New York during the pandemic, and how did it work for you?
I mean, in a very weird way, this pandemic really brought us all together, because we're fighting, all of us, collectively, an unknown enemy, really. And we all were in the same place. Everything went to zero. And of course, we all know New York was a morgue. But also, like, we all can talk about loss due to that pandemic. But I also lost my beloved brother, who was here in 2018 during the Odisha conclave with my sister-in-law. So my brother, Bijoyram Mohapatra, and my sister-in-law, Annie Mohapatra, they were instrumental in my going to US for higher studies. And that particular night I will never forget for many reasons. But the fact that I could see him in the crowd, and he didn't mention it, but I could see his pride. And I lost him, and that sort of changed me a lot, like any loss would do. And I'm trying to sort of fill that void with positive ideas and how I can make changes within myself to be more impactful with my work. But yeah, those losses will, some of those losses will never be healed, and the void will be there, but we have to work around it and grow around it.
Yeah.
But I miss him.
So just, things you said were very important, because at the moment in Orissa, the whole world is recognizing that we are at a path of what is called Nabeen Orissa. There is a transformation which is happening in the state. It is visible. We have the Orissa Sammelani, where people across the world are celebrating not only the language, but the people and everyone around us. whether it's Orissa Textile or whether it's our weavers. We are very, very proud over the fact that in every sphere, Nabeen Orissa is carving a path for itself. So if one was to ask you, what is the Nabeen Vibhu going to be like? You have a fashion show coming. How many of us are invited to New York? We want to know.
Well, I wish I could have you all there on 13th of February. But Nabeen Odisha is quite something because our Honorable Chief Minister has always believed in change and always for the positive highlights of what we are about while retaining the spirit, the Odia spirit, and celebrating what we own, what we have, and how to go beyond. I think many people are taking, outside of Odisha, taking credit to discover Odisha, but all along we've been here, we've been stealth, our growth has been stealth, but now that newness, that change is very visible because we have all the tools, and there are many amazing, talented humans who, in many different fields, are taking Odisha out of its region and making it much more visible and powerful and important and impactful. For me, change is everything, especially after what we went through the pandemic, when we had 8 months of pause and gave me a lot of time to think. The chinta kariba time jo mila, that was very precious to me. And I knew that change is everything. If we don't change and change in the way we see things, do things, we don't grow. And because standing still is not an option, we have to do something positive or something negative happening to us or around us, we got to do it. Because
so here, Vibhu, you remember as soon as the pandemic got over, you were invited by the Washington Opera to, and you did it with Ikat. May I ask the team to play the video, which is absolutely amazing, to have the Washington Opera and all the singers to be dressed in Ikat. I think we can show us the video. Can we have the sound in it also, please, Karthik? You want to tell us something as to
Sure.
how did you think about it?
After being, this is National Opera, Washington National Opera in Washington at the Kennedy Center. When they asked me to do this opening opera after 2 years, I wanted to include Odisha, and that's a Odisha scarf on brown Lee, and that's pretty ende. And there is a Odisha Ikat sari that was turned into this outfit, and they all loved it because they had not seen anything like that, the way it's sort of put together. And it's from that 6 yards of poetry that was woven by someone I don't know. I wish I had known that artisan's name, but I had that sari in my collection and I used that, and every publication, including the New York Times, the Vogue magazine, wrote about that. And I was so proud that night that I was able to put that Ikat textile, the Odisha Ikat textile on that global map. But that's only a very small effort, but I want to do more of that.
So do you think Ikat and the Odia fabric is acceptable globally?
Oh, it's desired. It's not acceptable is not the right way to say it. It's people talk about it because the Ikat comes from all different parts of India and different other cultures too, other countries. But Odisha Ikat has its own spirit.
Special?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
special?
Really special. It has a unique spirit. It can be whether it's cotton or cotton silk or 100% silk. People love it, and they love it in the picture, but when they actually touch it, it's sold. So.
Can you imagine, I don't know whether anybody could have in their dreams thought that they would ever get to meet Michelle Obama or the First Lady of the US. Vibhu, you want to tell us how it happened and exactly what?
She found me. I mean, I was pretty surprised that her team reached out and wanted to visit me in my little tiny studio in New York City, and that's how it began. And we dressed her a few times, and then I finally met her, and then she whispered in my ears, said, we're going to do something crazy together, and then walked off. And so I didn't know what she meant by that. And 2 weeks later, screenshots came from her, from my website, those blue outfit that she wore when she landed in India, this outfit.
Yes.
So,
a round of applause.
So this is exactly what she had planned. She wanted to wear that outfit to when she landed in India. This was her second state visit. She is someone who's so powerful. She has all the choices she could wear, but she knew how to use her platform and her power to make these differences in my life. And there are many other designers and creatives that have collaborated with her. It's always, they all have the same story to tell. And that's what power, the real essence of power is, to be able to empower others. And I do hope that I even can do a little bit of that. But it's a great honor to have met her and listened to her and spent some time with her. But I did have the moment when 2026 happened and it was time for them to leave the White House. I was invited to the last party, the farewell party, and I was dressed like this, but they were all wearing casual sweatsuits. I was very overdressed. But that time I got hold of her and I told her my story, how when I was applying at FIT, design test ଦେଇଥିଲେ. So 8टा testଥିଲା, last test ଟା होची first lady ଙ୍କ ପାଇଁ କିଛି ଗୋଟେ design କର. ସେତେବେଳେ first lady ଥିଲେ Hillary Clinton. So ମୁଁ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରୁ ଯାଇଛି very new, so I didn't know what sort of references I should draw. And but anyway, I was not very sure. I designed it and sent it. I knew that if I failed that application, it would be because of that. But somehow I got into that school. I finished, fast forward 2016. And I told her that this is how my American dream came true, that by that time I have dressed a first lady and I'm standing in the White House telling her the story. She was so emotional about it, and she was very touched. And it's a true story. It's always going to be part of my life. And that was the first time. The yellow dress was the first time she wore, and the white dress was somewhere in between. And there are a few others that I don't have pictures of.
Yes.
But most of these pieces are not with me, as given to the Smithsonian. They have it. Only the yellow outfit I have.
That one is the most amazing one, which she wore and walked down and then met Modi ji.
Yes.
And I remember the coverage was amazing. I think every Indian was so proud of you at that moment, that we have an Indian designer in New York who is dressed to the First Lady, and she decides to wear that when she's coming into India. So I think that blue outfit was a big hit. And the Jay Leno one also.
Yes.
The yellow floral dress which she wore when, and she explained it to Jay Leno that this is who you are and this is the dress you are wearing. So could you believe that someone from Air Force One could give you a call and ask you to design something for them?
I almost hung up on that phone call when they called me from the Air. Why would someone call me from the Air Force One? But anyway, so before I hung up, they clarified who was trying to reach me, and
Yes.
So, no, those are some moments in my career that it humbles me and I'm very grateful for. But I remember every single person, more family member, more sangamane ethi, more sangamane sethi jaumane. Everyone is responsible for me being here today. Every single person, and if I name them all, a lot of them are here actually, and but it'll be a long day if I just name them all. But I'm thinking of all of them right now.
So should we ask how many people do you think are from Rourkela here today? That's quite a large number. Oh, the youngsters at the back seem to be very delighted. So could you have imagined that someone who studied in a school similar to you all would get a call from Air Force One and then dress the First Lady? It's an amazing experience, and I think each one of us needs to be super proud of this moment. And we once again thank you, Vibhu, for being here.
Thank you.
I have a few more thoughts, but before that, there is another video of the Queen meeting you, and like most of us, wonder what exactly the Queen would have said to you. So would you like to tell us about it?
That was another one. I got an email to confirm my home address. I thought it was a scam, so I never responded. So then someone from my team saw it and responded, and then the invite came, and I had to go. I didn't know what it was about, so I met her. She was incredible and a very formal receiving line, and she knew I was a fashion designer. She was briefed, and then after the receiving line was done, I find her in front of me asking a follow-up question, this time with a glass of champagne in her hand, and she asked me, so where in India are you from? And then I got to say Odisha. And I think she knew where it was, but I said it's south of Calcutta. Then she sort of placed it. And then she did say, she was very nice. I was surprised that she actually came back and followed up with a question of what kind of clothes I do. But then she said, there's some never seen before miniature paintings that are in the collection of the Buckingham Palace. I should see, and they were amazing. But I thought like, those belong to us. You know, those are ours. So I'm glad that you're showing them at your home, but those belong to us. But they took care of it, and they're still there, and but never been seen before that night. But it was an amazing experience, and I'm very grateful.
If there was a movie made on your life, who would play the star? Would it be someone from Hollywood or Bollywood, or as you would say, Hollywood? And what do you think the title of that movie should be? I already have a star in my mind, but I'll let you go first.
I think it has to be a Hollywood star. Why do we need to go to a Bollywood or a Hollywood? But oh my God, who's going to watch that movie?
Plenty.
But I don't know. I mean, I grew up watching all the Odia movies, and a lot of them have retired, those movie stars. There's some stellar ones, like, you know, I could talk about movies
Forever?
Forever.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, you know.
You should say a few names, because the crowd will be thrilled to know that you are aware of a lot of the stars.
I don't know, like, you know, Vijay Mahanti, or who I thought was a massive star.
Yes.
And what was
the name of the movie that you think? Do you want to say like a title for the name?
I don't know. I would like to be it's basically you're asking how, when I'm not here, when I'm dead, how would I like to be remembered? I would like to be remembered as someone who created things, opportunities, and use my platform to give voices.
Yes.
Maybe something like a nirmata or something, like something that I created things that was benefit.
So your dominant identity would be Bibu the fashion designer, Bibu the entrepreneur, Bibu the immigrant, Bibu the Odia, and Bibu the celebrity.
Bibu the Odia, for sure.
Yes.
Of course. I mean, Bibu is not a celebrity for sure, but Bibu is a Odia, will always be. Odia, I'm first. I'm a prathama hochi Odia, tapare anything else. So.
You can actually tell the audience exactly what you've eaten in the 15 minutes that you went to your aunt's house.
I was, obviously it's like 3 in the morning for me, 4 in the morning. So I wanted to see my aunt who found out in some newspaper that I'm here. So she calls me while I'm in Amsterdam during my layover and she's angry. So I made sure that I go see her in Sahid Nagar and I love her and my aunt and uncle. So she offers me all this food, I'm not hungry. So then she sort of goes through the list of things she made. Then she says, Chingudi Sukwa. So I had to say yes. So I just ate a plate of Chingudi Sukwa and then my hand still smells. So she said, don't hug anyone because you smell of Sukwa.
And Mr. Bagchi said when Bibu told him the story and said, oh, Sukwa smells wonderful. So don't worry about it. So there's another thought which comes to our mind. Not a lot of people from Orissa have gone into the fashion world. Is it a difficult world or is it as glamorous as it comes out to be? And what would you like to tell youth who are looking at you, who want to be like you, who maybe want to be tiny Vibhus in the world? What would you like to tell them?
I think there's that no matter what. So fashion is sure, there is a side to it, it's very glamorous, but its other side is pretty hard work and a lot of things to shift. But also fashion is not just creating beautiful things. Fashion as a business is the most difficult part. So I always say, one has to learn how to balance the creativity and commerce part of it. So whether you work for yourself have your own brand or work for a different brand, आमको से balance टाको बनाएको पड़ियो जोड़ा creativity और commerce दुईटा रखरा. So I want to see more of my Odia youngsters, friends and family go into world of fashion, and it's not just design, but fashion has many different aspects, and that make fashion industry as a stronger, unified entity. So it's not only the credit doesn't only go to the designers. Credit goes to many other professionals that support the fashion business, whether it's communications, whether it's production, whether it's textiles, whether it's embroidery. There are countless numbers of artisans who come together to put together a collection. Even some of the things that you're seeing. I have Narcisa, who's an immigrant from Ecuador, who sewed every single one of those dresses for Michelle Obama and a lot of the pieces for the runway. Without her, I cannot tell my story. Her story needs to be told with my story and my brand story. So I think anyone who's trying to enter into this business, they have to think of it as a community and believe in their strengths. But there are certain areas, if they are not strong about, that's when they need to fill in with strong team members.
So you would say that there would be some amount of measures or vision that would help realize this true potential, like exports and skilled employment, the socio-cultural inclusion. How do you think any of these can be created in a more structured way?
I think it can only be created meaningful way if there is a structure to it. I think every entity, every professional environment should have a way to sort of make it circular. So skill has to be circular, because if I'm going to retire tomorrow, but I can't just check out. I have the responsibility to train the other young people who are coming behind me to give them my skills. That's what I think. This is a few years ago. I visited a nearly 100-year-old company in Naples, Italy, called Kiton. They invited me one day. I visited their facilities. They had 5 different buildings. So one building did jackets, the other building did pants, ties, shoes, and then they had lunch break. So everyone came together, they had lunch together. That's what they do every day. And then they said, we're going to show you the last building, our most precious place. So last building ta hochi, I go in there, it's 5 floors, and there are like men and women in their, let's say, 60s, in white lab coats, and then young students. So I asked, what's going on here? They said, each floor is a school, and anyone who retired, any tailor or any workman that retires there, they go to the 5th building and they teach until they decide that, okay, they have taken on 3 students and then made them sort of understand the skill. And then those students start in the building 1 now. So they scout young students every year all over the world and then give them that position. And the people who are going out and about to retire, they take on that teacher's role, that educator's role. Because these kind of fine craft, be it ikat, be it embroidery, be it weaving or dressmaking or tailoring, if we don't, it's like heirloom. If we don't pass it along, it just disappears. And we all have to think about we have to have a structure. We have to have the communities involved to recognize it and how precious what we have. And we can't just let it go.
So basically, you are going along the same paths that the Honorable Chief Minister said, that are you skilled or are you skilled in Orissa? So we have Bibhu here giving us almost like a plan as to what needs to be executed by us. And I'm sure there are lots of policymakers here who are listening as to, he's even given you a plan of the 5 buildings and exactly what happens in the last one and how we need to make this happen. So before I say thank you to him for being here, how do you stay in touch with the language? We have this amazing 3-day program which is happening here. We have now apps where students are being able to stay in touch with Odia, both the language as well as the literature. You so far away, how do you manage to stay in touch with the language? Because you seem to be speaking Odia fluently. And I'm very, very certain that you are speaking to someone regularly. That's how you're being able to speak such fluent Odia.
I'm fluent in very raw Baleswari Odia. My family members said, if you can't speak poetry like Odia, don't go into like raw village Odia, because that's what I know, and that's how I speak. So, I mean, I was born, I'm a Odia, and I speak in Odia every day, every moment with my family members, and I read Odia books, and I listen to Odia music, and I watch Odia films. It's hard to find old Odia films. If I could find somewhere, I would like to watch them, because we talk about creativity today, but there have been creators and the writers, filmmakers, songwriters, singers, dancers, you know, people that I have seen and grew up whose work, those are the things, those are the people made me, you know, whether there were no fashion designers, but I remember Sanjukta Pranigrai performing. I remember amazing Kelcharan Mahapatra teaching. I come from that world, and those things stay with me. And when I left India, those things became even closer to me. So,
yes. Actually, we get to see it a lot in your work, because sometimes there are designs, and you can make out that you've seen it somewhere, and you've kind of brought it back. So homecoming in December at the Lakme Fashion Week was a big, big thing. You had stars from all over vying to be part of that show. Do you remember anything really, really special about it?
It was, when I was asked, it was a thing of honor, and we made it happen. It was a sort of greatest hits of my collection from collection number 1 to now, like I guess 14 years. It was great. There were celebrities and everything, but what I felt that it missed something, what we created right here in 2018 during the Odisha Conclave. I remember that phone call from my friend Geeta Mehta, who connected with Mr. Subrata Bagchi and myself, and we started planning that. There was something there we did. I had all those Odisha saris draped in that show, mixed with my contemporary designs. That's what was missing in Lakme, and if I had the opportunity and time to do that, I could have, but it didn't allow for that.
So we're going to fix a date with you to do that all over again in the state.
Absolutely.
So I think the Sammelani has been really good because it has brought you here for a few hours, but it's ensuring that you come here again more often, and we will recreate the magic that you always create once you get people onto the ramp.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be back here more on that capacity, but I want to, maybe if I can talk about
The institution that you want to create?
Yes, during that time, our beloved and honorable Chief Minister proposed some sort of a creative institution here in Odisha that allows us to create a platform for the artists of our state to dominate the global arena and let the world also come as an exchange program to come into this beautiful state of ours to exchange of ideas. So that's something I'm very happy that hopefully will come into life very soon. I have already started putting some creative minds globally together who can come and contribute their skills and to create something that is unique, that would be first time of its kind in India, actually.
Yes.
So that will allow our artisans to go on a scholarship to exchange programs to different institutes all over the world.
So we could literally have students studying here, or maybe artisan and weavers children who have the skill to be able to go and work in New York in your new atelier, and people from there come back here.
Absolutely.
It could be a mixing and a melting pot of culture, of design, of artisans, and everything. It would be absolutely amazing.
I think during COVID, one of the things I realized that the growth comes from sharing and exchange of ideas. Collaborations are everything. So to reach new heights, everything, in fashion especially, things have been done. But how do you say new things? That's my challenge personally. Every day I go to my studio and go and work with my team because there's a drive that, okay, I can, and a belief that I can, more kichi nua kohibar achi, more kichi nua koribar achi, opportunity achi. The day I feel like more kichi nua koribar nahi, I'm done. I would go and take on that role on the 5th building to teach people. But as long as I'm creating and collaborating with others, I can say new things. So I think exchange of ideas and ideas coming together on this very land is what going to create and give that structure that is missing so far.
And to create the magic of Vibhu all over
of
again.
Odisha.
Of
Create a
Odisha.
magic of
Yes,
Odisha.
yes. So quick rapid, yeah, thank you. So quick rapid fire, few questions for you. We'll try and go as soon as possible. Who's the better muse, Deepika or Priyanka?
I have to be diplomatic. Deepika here, Priyanka in New York.
New York. Okay, perfect. The better dressed Obama, Barack or Michelle?
Michelle, of course.
Yeah.
Barack hasn't asked me to dress him yet, so.
Yes. Your favorite Indian designer, Sabya or Tarun?
Tarun, because Tarun I read about Tarun when I was a boy in Odisha, in Rourkela, and I would see his work on the Sunday magazines. So of course Tarun. Sabya is also a friend.
Yes. Your most interesting client till now?
She remains unnamed, very discreet, but has an incredible taste for finer things. And she's someone who keeps every single thing that I have done from my collection one. She also believes that I don't create things that have an expiry date, and I aim for that. So if something is made well, so after COVID, we've decided that we're only going to create less, but really well. So things would last a longer time, and we train our audience to value every single thing they buy from us
Yeah.
that has a purpose for a long time.
Correct. So, chakuli pita or pakada? Which
Oh,
is
that's
preferred?
a difficult one. Can I alternate? Today
Yes.
it's going to be poka.
Yeah.
Tomorrow chocolate pita.
Yeah. Who made Bibhu Mahapatra? New York or Rourkela?
Rourkela.
Rourkela. The real center of fashion, New York, Paris or Milan? We can add Bhubaneswar also.
Now New York, Bhubaneswar is coming for sure.
Yes. And men or women who have the better fashion sense?
Women, of course.
Yes.
Some men, except don't get mad. Subrata, don't get mad.
Hand sketches or computer designs, since
Ha-
technology is coming in?
Hand sketches always for me, but iPad helps sort of multiply a lot of it,
Yes.
but hand sketches.
Yeah. A gift you love to receive?
Just a lot of love and wishes.
Yes. So, since you're a music person, would you prefer Perfect of Ed Sheeran or Man Meri Jaan between the Nick Jonas King one or Ed Sheeran? Or you can give your own choice.
You know, I think we still have her with us. Nirmala Misra, do we all know her?
Yeah.
Nida Bhararati. That's something that my mother introduced me to, and I didn't understand the words at all, and I made fun of it, but I loved the tune. And then as I grew older, that would, like some afternoons there was this music program in the radio that would come, and my mom would go silent when that played, and we all had to listen to it. But then I realized how wonderful that voice was, how beautifully that song was written. So that will always
Thank
be.
you for that. Actually, I had to get you to talk about music, and I knew that you would surely be very happy to. Chena Podo or Chena Jilli?
Chenapoda.
Chena Podo. Singers, I'm going to say Sonu Nigam, Arijit Singh, but you can add whoever you like.
They're pretty good, but Sonu Nigam is sort of made himself a little exclusive, so we don't get more of him. So maybe Sonu Nigam. Yes.
Okay. And your coffee poison, Americano or mocha, or
Americano with a little warm milk, no sugar, gets me started. Just 1 cup gives me energy. I actually had one before coming
before
here,
starting.
just to stay up.
So on that note, I do want to add that Mr. Bibhu Mahapatra, thank you so much for being here. The femininity in your clothes has won us, all of us Uriyas, international acclaim. The warmth of your personality has burst all fashion cliches. Normally one can't imagine that one would spend 45 minutes talking to a fashion designer, someone who's actually very near to us, but very far. And since you've done so well with the rapid fire, you've been really, really honest. We will have the Principal Secretary's skill as well as the students from Skilled in Orissa. They want to actually give you something, and they want to take pictures with you. And many of them are from Rourkela, and they have specifically asked to be able to spend a few moments with you. So we have the students from Skilled in Orissa coming along. Yes. Yes. So, aloud Jai Jagannath. Oh, yes. Please come here. Come, all of you are in front. Yes, yes, yes. And that's like coffee, turmeric, everything. Can all of you all come a little ahead? And these girls are studying textile. Yeah, come in front. All of you come in front. These girls are studying textile in the ITIs. So that's how we really, really wanted them to. Yes. Yes. And they do beauty, and some of them are engineering students also. So you stand in front of it. You need to come in front so they can all take pictures. Thank you. Yeah. Samane. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I'm here.